Hello folks. Well, many of you seen my videos using my Sony AS15 and AS30 action cams with GPS tracking and wireless features mounted on my helicopters, my quads, and my planes. You know, many of you may also have seen my videos using the GoPro and Hero 2 cameras with wireless backpacks on the same planes and quads and helicopters. I'm going to fly my Garmin cameras on the my modified DJI Phantom with my retractable landing gear module. You know, I installed a separate switch inside the stark-looking DJI Phantom transmitter to run the landing gear from the external transmitter on the back. The second flight will be on my modified Blade 350 QX with retractable landing gear module. I'm using the rudder half-rate switch on my DX6i to run the external transmitter for the landing gear. Both these quads are incapable of using the existing electronics to run another channel, and that's why I'm using an external transmitter and receiver. Well, I like them both, but, you know, still not entirely happy with either. Even though they're both excellent cameras, there just seems to be something missing. Well, enter the Garmin VIRB. Yes, it's made by the same folks who make the Garmin GPS and other wireless devices. Well, after reading some of the features and specs, I found that they were pretty much surpassing my other cameras and with features that I really like that my other ones don't have, all in one. And I want you to notice the specs for the camera, which I'm having scroll throughout the video here. You know, I know what you're going to say, and I know there's a second version called the Elite VIRB that is available. But as far as sensors and specs, everything's identical, and I don't need all that stuff. I didn't need the GPS function because that's why I purchased a Sony, and it does a perfect job for that. I also don't need the smartphone app because I tried that, and I could barely find my Retractor 3D switch when I looked down on them. Flying, let alone trying to figure out something on my smartphone that still doesn't know the difference between my ear and my finger and hangs up when I answer it. My robots, my wireless cameras, all of my quads, everything that I use the smartphone on has a huge lag too. So I bought the first generation. You know, that's all I'm going to need. It was the least amount of money to try it out. The following are random stills, videos, various lights, and action in this quick view video. So if you're watching this in 240p, you better crank up that gear down at the bottom right hand of the screen. So I will begin by saying I flew the camera this afternoon in the late sun using several settings for the video and pictures. I'm showing you what they are when we're running a video. It was about 21 degrees outside and the wind was about 12 miles per hour. Well, let's start with the things I really like about the Garmin. The first thing is the mount. I mean, I can mount this thing on anything, any mount, including GoPros and Sony mounts that are already built in, and it's a lower profile. And next, the second part of the mount that's a bonus is the two push buttons on the side, and you push that and the whole camera just pops right off. It's like a quick disconnect. It's great. Garmin VIRB is perfect for aircraft work with the simple button that flips the image and just a simple on-off. You know, that's another great thing that I like is that there's a separate button for taking pictures. There's no guesswork. Another thing I really like is the fact that the lens is straight down the front like the Sony. It's not offset like the GoPros, requiring it to be mounted sideways to get it straight. Well, another really cool thing is the display. It's an actual display that you can see the pictures you're taking. You know, it's driven by ambient light, so it doesn't have a backlight. And it's great in bright light and more like black and white at low lights. But nonetheless, it's easy to see the zooms, the wide angles, the narrow, the high settings. And, you know, it's definitely what you see is what you get, and I like that. You know, the fact that the display is right on top and all the buttons are easily reached with either the left or right hand, I think it is by far the easiest camera to hold. Easy to aim, you can look down and see what's going on. It's also robust, almost rubber coated. It's clad in its own waterproof case, which is good down to about 3 feet, and it's pretty good for water skiing or other low intent water photography. You know, it's perfect for rain flying or snow flying and doesn't require that big case like the other ones do. Well, that brings up another really cool feature, the lens correction setting. When you have this set on, it reduces that fishbowl tremendously, and you can still see the entire video as in wide angle, as you can see here in my video. You know, another thing is the recording light on top there. It's red when it's recording, it's green when it's in standby, and it's orange when it's charging. And it also can be turned off within the menu, so that way it doesn't affect your eyes or scenes in low light. It's very bright and big. It's great for flying on the planes because you can really see it up there. It uses a Class 10 or above micro SD card, and it's installed under the battery. Well, this is different from other card holders I've ever seen. In this one, it pops open like a cover, and then you lay in the card, then close the cover and slide it toward you just a bit, and it's in. Then the battery drops in over top of that. Piece of cake. You know, on the display, the video shows the time and minutes left instead of just a counter. That's pretty good too. And another great thing is the zoom. Neither my Sonys or my GoPros have zoom capability, and this does really well. I can adjust the zoom and angles to wide or narrow, or even HD tall. And speaking of batteries, this is a robust 2000 milliamp 3.7 LiPo battery, and it outlasts all my other cameras by a long shot. At full 1080 HD, it will record up to 3 full hours of video. And the battery life shown on the display shows the time and minutes left, not just a gauge. Well, another cool innovation is the way to take time-lapse pictures. Instead of a whole program devoted to that, Garmin took the self-timer setup and just simply added a repeat feature. So, for example, if you want to take a picture, you set the self-timer for the picture to take every 2 seconds, and then turn on the repeat feature. And when you push or take the picture button, it begins the process and keeps taking pictures every 2 seconds until you push the stop. Well, another great feature that they all have is image stabilization. And though I fly pretty smooth, I think, I had it on with the videos along with the lens correction, and you can see they come out pretty good. Well, I must also say that this camera is the easiest for me to use and see with my old tired eyes, and the most ergonomic that I own so far. It just perfectly fits in my hand. You know, the pictures speak for themselves. The light adjustment and focus is uncanny, as you can see. The pictures and video are far clearer and crisper than my others. You know, some may be biased, but to me this is a better deal for the money. And when you look at the features that I just mentioned, the cost, the battery life, I think Garmin has just made a pretty good entrance into the field. I'm duly impressed. You know, I really don't have anything to complain about with the camera yet. As I build time with it, I will make future comments about it. You can see for yourself. Well, in the meantime, what I have done is I found this camera will really fit in nicely here. I like it a lot. I think you would too. Thanks a lot for watching, and fly safe.